All right, everyone, how y'all doing? All right, how everyone doing tonight? I want to call this meeting to order. My name, fix my camera. Okay. My name is Jelani Johnson, and I'm a current national president, serving for the past 6 years. And it's an honor to hold this movement we have tonight for Phi O. Tonight, we're going to have our two candidates, candidate Palmer and candidate Crayton. And first, I want to welcome our governing board of superintendents, virtually attending, Superintendent of Finance Donald Loudon, Interim Superintendent of Standards and Regulations Robert Martin, Superintendent of Intake Gerard Cook, Superintendent of Records Chris Ferrero, and Superintendent Chairperson Nick Allen. Also acknowledge our current National Vice President, Raynice Russell, and she'll be in attendance as well. Lastly, and Phi O fan members that are present and our distinguished patrons as alumnus, we have two great presidential candidates today who have great interest in becoming the sixth national president. They'll share their vision in bringing innovative ideas and moving NFIU forward by answering questions from four different categories such as leadership, hazing, money, and programming. First, allow me to recite the debate rules for our viewers, which the candidates have read and understood prior to this meeting. So the big rules. I will ask the questions from a category. Each candidate has 2 minutes to respond to that question. After the candidate has completed their response, they will be allowed to reply to the claims of their opponent for 1 minute. We ask the candidates stick to topic, not to speak over each other, and be respectful in their claims. And I see now National Vice President Raynice has joined us. Okay, so our two candidates we have our candidate Tremayne Palmer and Raynice Crayton. So how you doing? How y'all doing tonight?
Great.
Hey y'all.
How you
Okay.
doing?
Oh, doing good, doing good. Thank y'all for joining us tonight.
Thank you for
Okay.
having us.
So I have the first question, which is on the category leadership. What is your vision for the organization for the next 5 years? And I go Miss Candidate Crayton. And your time will
All
start
right.
now.
All right. So my vision for the next 5 years is to basically reunite the organization and everyone in it, but also implement programs that we have so that way our members are having something to take away from the organization as well. So I plan to help move our organization forward by training each chapter to know how to conduct meetings, submit reports, and foster healthy chapter environments. Encouraging leaders to provide while also guiding them to the target professional development. The goal is to host conferences eventually and workshops that focus on leadership training and management skills and to host effective team building events for their chapter members. This includes the guidance on how to manage positions within the chapters, um, effectively optimize successful outcomes. And by doing this, the national board would definitely work hands on and assist and lead those sessions directly. Just build a good connection between the national board and each individual chapter. Um, and then the national board, of course, will undergo some type of training as well before they are the ones who are helping teach the chapter. So this will, like I said, be an opportunity for the organization to work hands on with each chapter with the national board. The next step would be to revise the handbook so that it reflects the organization's mission and purpose. The handbook should be written in such a way that the organization's mission and purpose is clearly communicated and any chapter or member can understand the mission and the purpose. Um, and I also created a program like I said, that will help chapters want to work together. It'll build a healthy environment for each chapter. It'll be award based, so you will go through these. For example, I have 5 different projects.
30 seconds.
They all reflect our purpose, and each chapter has the opportunity to earn awards. And if you, of course, earn all of them, there is an award for that too. So this just gives everyone a drive to want to do more and kind of a little competitive, but positive competitive spirit. I also plan to improve the communication between the chapters, between everyone really, because it seems like a lot of us are left out of the loop on a lot of things. There are things being done, but we can implement a newsletter to help with that.
Okay, thank you. That's me your time. Thank you. Okay, and candidate Palmer, propose the same question to you, and your time will start now.
I want to go ahead and first thank Raynice for her great answers. I also want to say the same, pretty much the same thing. The vision for the organization in the next 5 years is to reunite the organization. In the past, we've not been successful at coming together and being on the same page about how we would like to move our band organization and how we would like to continue moving N5 to the next level. So for the next 5 years, we are going to do our best at communicating and reaching out to everyone to make sure that we're all on the same page. Step one is communication. We want to go ahead and reestablish our organizations, make sure that all of the governing boards are on the same accordance. I'll piggyback with Raynice and also say that we will be doing training for those e-boards so that they know exactly how to run a meeting, how to take minutes, how to take notes, how to make sure that these things are, how to effectively achieve a plan and a goal. Make sure that we're planning to achieve that goal and how to execute that plan. Um,
1 minute.
past that, past that, we'll also be making sure, like I said, our communication is transparent. We'll be sending out monthly newsletters and weekly updates within communicating with our e-boards. Those e-boards are also issuing out those information so that all of the candidates, all of the members, and everybody, even alumni included, have the information necessary to participate and be a part. Last but not least will be the communication aspect and how that is divvied out.
30
Um, we
seconds.
we will change from GroupMe and move over to a more streamlined platform where we're all able to access the website as a whole. That's my plan for the next 5 years.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Okay, next question. I have, okay. Can you share any successful experiences that you led or created within different systems and or procedures? And I'll go with Miss Crayton, and your time will start now.
All right. So previously, I have had leadership experience. I graduated from Mississippi Valley State University, where I also held a presidential position within my chapter. My chapter was kind of going through the similar things here, trying to get back on track. So what I did was, when I was running for chapter president, I talked about doing things by the book and returning structure to the chapter to get it back on the right track. So this kind of means going through our old policies and all having a meeting on how to agree if we wanted to change this or if we wanted to keep this and make sure that we are following by what is said in black and white. After I was elected, I made sure to handle business on both the national and chapter level. We received many awards from nationals. This was kind of like our first year in 7 years of actually being recognized on a national level. We had the opportunity to submit reports on time, earn awards, like I said, and then also we
One
had a
minute.
high rate of participation for band activities throughout the year. And I made sure that we bonded as a chapter by hosting team building events to grow closer and achieve our goals to carry out our purpose.
Okay, and that was it for you, candidate Crayton.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, candidate Palmer. Propose the same question. Can you share any successful experiences that you led or created with different systems and or procedures? And your time will start now.
Okay. So in the past, I'm actually an automator. What that means is that I've created a system that digitizes documents, legal documents, anything that has to be placed into the system during the COVID crisis. so that we can work remotely from home without documents being shipped from one house to another, just so that those people can touch those documents live. So we created an automated system for that to happen. I'm using that same automation to move over into M5 structure and how we would continue moving the process and procedures here. What we would like to do is, like I said, create some type of system where we can keep up with the history and the information. Each person can submit their information via the website, and once they submit that information, it'll go into the system and be stored for a permanent keep. It's not something that we have to continue monetizing or continue adjusting. Once we have that proper documentation, that we can do that and make sure that that information is kept
One
and kept
minute.
in a safeguard so that we can access it at any time. So, like I said, the most successful procedure for us is automation for me. Getting our team, getting the organization back into a digital age when it comes to paperwork, documentation, and making sure that everything is in a place where we can continue to pass that information down as the years continue.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank y'all for your answers. Okay, well, next question. What are your plans to unify the organization? This includes the chapters, alumnus, pages of our different boards. And on this one, I will go with candidate Palmer, and your time will start now.
So unifying the board, the plan is, like I said, again, effective communication is like number one in that aspect. We want to make sure that we're effectively communicating with all chapters, all alumnus, and different patrons who are also a part of the M5 movement and going forward with our new agenda. Making sure that we do that, we'll be sending out, like I said, weekly newsletters, monthly updates. We'll also be doing like small lives and different things like we're doing now, so that you can see, access, and hear this information via live, and you can have the opportunity to share and kind of comment and have comments about what's happening and where we want to go. Also, unifying the organization with more social engagements. Social engagements meaning mentorships, programs that foster new candidates to want to come and join the organization. Also fostering alumni into, further reaching into new aspects. We have a lot of alumni who's in the music industry, who knows the ropes and kind of knows where we should be moving forward to. So,
One
helping
minute.
get these social engagements together, building groups and organizations so that we can have and foster new things. Last but not least will be our alumni chapters and boards, recreating alumni chapters for these governing chapters that we have now, so that the alumni can have a more hands-on participation on what's actually happening and on campus, and continuing to keep tradition alive and keep our legacy held.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, I will pose the same question to Candace Crayton. What are your plans to unify the organization? This includes the chapters, alumni, patrons, and other different boards. And your time will start now.
So, along with the communication, like I mentioned earlier, with having a newsletter that will go out potentially every week or once a month, depending on how it's scheduled, I'm also in the process of creating a program. I call it the 5/4 program. The name 5/4 was created from the area code, of course. The five representing our purposes, and the four, which should be things that we value. So we would have to do some searching to find out what do we value as an organization, so that way we can emphasize that throughout going through our purposes. So the program will identify special projects each chapter can complete to earn a chance at winning an award. This will help them become closer by not only, like I said, communicating, but you're working hands on. You're actually working with these people and building connections with them. So, for example, purpose number one states it's important to the organization to encourage higher education. So,
One minute.
a project that will reflect this is hosting a study session for your band or for your chapter, and then you would submit photos and summaries of how that went, and how it was created. And then once you complete it by the due date, you can earn a fleur de lis. The goal is to earn five overall, five per chapter. I chose the fleur de lis because on our shield it represents the five purposes. So this will be a fun token to give out to each chapter. Another example is purpose number five
30
states that a
seconds.
member should never forget where they come from. So this will reflect everyone attending all national events, conferences, and workshops, and that's how you will earn that award by your participation.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you all. Great answers. Okay, so our next session of the questions pertain to hazing. Just like all fraternities and sororities, there's always a process to get into the organization. What are your thoughts on hazing and how will you support or enforce the rules of it being performed inside the organization? And I propose that to candidate Palmer first, and your time will start now.
My thoughts on hazing is that NFIO is a non-hazing organization. It's clear in our bylaws, and it is something that is handled and standard by our university as well. Everyone is required to go to a non-hazing seminar, meaning they do know the ramifications of what hazing is and how that is divvied out. We do not participate in that whatsoever. In any type of instance of it being done will result in some type of disciplinary action from the board or even higher, depending on where that action has been taking place. Hazing is something, like I said, we do not support. Our process is something that we want to illustrate into something being more of an honor society. You deserve to be here. This is not something that we're trying to instill in you or force you to be a part of. This is something that, like I said, you deserve to be here because you're a person who came from New Orleans who's instrumented a new way of doing things or a new way of life, and you want to continue growing in that fashion and showing how we can illustrate that and continue growing that to
Mm-hmm.
mentor other people. So like I said, hazing is not a process that we have here. It is something that we do not participate or condone. And like I said, I would like us to move forward more so in learning the aspects of how we should move in more of an honor society way, creating like mentorship programs, also fostering new different ways to move around. When we talk about how we do the intake process, we don't want to foster any type of
30
hazing.
seconds.
So we would like to move in a different fashion, and that's the way we would like to go in more of an honor society way.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Candidate Crayton, propose the same question to you, and your time will start now.
I agree with Tremaine. I don't support the act of hazing in any way. I do believe that no one deserves to be treated less than, especially when they're coming to help us be a better organization. A hazing workshop should be held at the beginning of each school year. And then if a chapter is hazing, or if you know a chapter is hazing and it's not is grounds for disciplinary action as far as probation or suspension. We should look deeper into our initiation process. I know some organizations do tests. We can definitely try that and be open-minded to trying it, and then it will be approved by the national board. And I do think so that way we are on the same page with our initiation process that we should create a ritual book that is handed out to every chapter. This way we know that our organizations, we are all, it's in black and white, we're all doing the same process. Um
One
and yeah,
minute.
pretty, go ahead. That's really where I am with it. The ritual book will be for 20 years from now when we all of us are no longer a part of the organization and there's other people who have joined in five. They still have something to reference, saying this is how they did it 20 years ago. Do we need to change it, make it better, or do we think this is not working for us? So just something concrete evidence uh, of our ritual process. That way we're all on the same page.
Okay. Okay. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Okay then. Our next category is money. Of course, everything revolves around money. Any organization, businesses, work, everything like that. So currently, the organization has no real plan to raise money. What are some of the ideas or strategies that you have for the organization to raise funds? And I'll propose that to candidate Palmer first, and your time will start now.
Okay, so raising funds is our new main initiative. Again, we don't have a structure or a plan for that. So what we would like to do is to illustrate um, what we call like a partnership drive, or like when we get sponsorships to come in and sponsor our organization. Again, we have to have good things for our sponsors for them to want to sponsor us. So creating programs, mentorship programs, and different things for them to see that this is something that we should invest in, we should put our money into this program. Also creating fund drives, membership drives, things that like cost that shaves down costs. Creating raffle tickets and games, things that we can do during the summertime to kind of shave down costs. Also partnering with different organizations on parties and different events that we can kind of foster a little bit of money but not shell out too much money, and making sure that we also putting a good name out there for ourselves. So creating funds is a great idea, but again, raising funds, we want to make sure we're doing it the proper way, and we now have our 501c to do that. So being able to give that 501c and illustrate that we are a legitimate business, we are running business correctly, we're not doing anything shady tree wise. All of our money is going into account that is governed by a actual bank, and it's something that is not going to like a cash app or something like that. We are moving away from those programs, and we are moving more to a streamlined way of doing business. If we can't do it that way, then it just won't be done. And that's kind of where we are now as far as money is concerned. And I would like to, like I said, continue in fostering new programs to continue getting more money into the building, and that will be done through sponsorship.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. Okay. So I'll propose the same question to candidate Crayton. What are some of your ideas and strategies and plans to raise funds for the organization? And your time will start now.
I definitely look into selling our own merch as a great start to our members. Things like pins and shirts, just starting small and then it progresses over time. For example, something as small as an enamel pin that can be bought for 29 cents. If we sell it for $5, if we sell 500 of them for $5, that'll give us $2,300 right there. It is a small thing because I do think money is a sensitive topic. Um, for us because we push for dues a lot, but we don't see the outcome like we should have, or it just could be that communication, like you said. Our members should be the ones to come to us first for all apparel before going to other vendors. I also have access to a list of over 100 grants, and it's updated by the month for small businesses. Like Tremaine mentioned, we were informed that we do have our 501c now, so it is for small
I'm winning.
businesses, nonprofit organizations that we can access together or assess together and find some that align with our organization. And then these are just some suggestions until we sit down and analyze what is really needed for the organization. And then I will say with the programs that I mentioned earlier was like the 504 that will also increase participation. So this means you have more people paying dues because they want to be a part of this organization, which will
Okay.
also
30
increase the funds
seconds.
as well.
Okay. Okay. Before our next question, if anyone had any rebuttal to what either party said, then now would be the time to do so. But if not, we can continue. So, yeah, I was good. Okay. So Lance, next. Category of programming. There are plenty of community and music organizations. They all serve with a mission as well. What are some of your thoughts on collaborating one or two of the established organizations that you may have those organizations in creating an event or partnership in a community program such as New Orleans All Star Band and with upholding new and five Omicron's members and mission? And I would propose that to candidate Palmer first, and your time will go start now.
So in the past, Phi O Delta Psi chapter has partnered with several music organizations to obtain the same goal. That being like the Sock Drive. The Sock Drive is partnered with the Lone Star Order, which is the Texas organization for music. And it is something like we do every year. It is something we actually look forward to because it allows us to participate with our fellow band members. We do have a lot of separation when it comes to this because we are all divvied out based off our location and based off of what program you decided to join as far as a music organization. But we can come together to achieve the same goals, that being food drives, that being sock drives, that being things that we can do for the band, or coming together to help achieve one main goal. Like, hey, we don't have any money for the buses this weekend, but our organizations, it was three of our organizations, and I'm sure within that time or of all collaborating together, that we can figure out some type of plan to get us where we need to be. So collaborating with the programs that we have or the people that we
1 minute.
know is something that we are looking forward to and something that we have done in the past. It's just more about, like I said, reaching out and communicating with everybody and making sure we're all on the same page and try to achieve that. Upholding MFI's mission again is like I said, the five purposes, and that is always being done when we thinking about logging or moving with someone else as far as like their mission. So, partnering with them to get one achieved goal is our best outcome. And I
30
think, like I
seconds.
said, the All Star and all of those programs that come with that will help us foster those programs a lot better when it comes to that information.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, candidate Palm, for your answer. And lastly, candidate Crayton, I propose the same question to you, and your time will start now.
So I also love the idea of connecting with other organizations. It helps support the community. It helps the kids. It promotes teamwork. It will help with our recruitment, and it'll also help keep our name out there in a positive light. My biggest concern is that making sure we are not clinging to these other organizations and that we're solid on our end. And what I mean by that is that we're not depending on them to pull us up from where we are. We have to have our own solid foundation. We also need to be mindful of who we partner with, kind of like Tremayne said, making sure that their mission is similar to ours and that they're also showcasing a positive influence to the younger generation because they are the next to come in, and it's also a space for recruitment as well.
Okay. Okay, then. Excuse me. Okay. At the current moment, if we have any questions from the audience, we'll take maybe one or two at a time. Okay, so we have a Demetrius Young. How you guys organize the chapter name as well as other schools acquiring a charter and in the future? Okay. Whoever would like to start with that first.
I'll
Okay.
piggy first. Our chapter names are already established. They're based off history, based off the times that they came in. Each chapter is based off alpha, beta, and continuing on based off when they were issued in and when they chartered. So that will not change. Those will be rebought and restructured once they come back up into the play. That being said, like say if Morris Brown decided to reestablish themselves, they would come back in as the same chapter they were. They would just be fostered back in by a chapter who was already established, which is like Delta Psi or New Omicron or one of those chapters. Um, the acquiring of that school is based off the school's requirements. We're doing our best right now to establish and set up ourselves to make sure we're meeting those requirements regardless to where we go, whether it be Alabama State, Texas Southern, or Southern University. We're making sure that we've set up ourselves in a way in which we have an alumni chapter who governs that present chapter, who is also being governed by the national chapter ahead. So we have a structure and a system that we're putting in place in order for that to be a possibility. Again, our focus right now is more so in house, and we're not trying to move to campus until we have our house in order.
Okay. Candy Cream.
I agree with Tremaine as well. I wouldn't change the chapter names because we are talking about history. That's rearranging someone's identity, a chapter's identity. So you can't just snatch that away and say, here's this, here's the new name. As coming in, we can try to establish for those newer chapters, you can try to establish a more organized way for their chapter names. I do think that our main focus, however, should be on before we do any intake to add to the confusion, we need to clean up our own area first. So we need to have, before someone even comes in to try to charter a new chapter, we need to have the ritual book. We need to have those organizations planned out. So that way, that new chapter is solid. There is no confusion from the past and everything like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. We have Zod chapter here. Is the main focus on NOSB or will we branch out to 337?
So our main focus is Louisiana programs in general. I think the new NOASB has been a foster program for so long that it is key to the New Orleans program, and we did originate from there, so that's probably where most of us go. But there are 337 people. There are people. There is M5 members in 337. There's M5 members in the regulators, if I'm not mistaken. That's the All Star Band of Baton Rouge. So those programs are all they are there. the reason why they have not been illustrated or fostered as much is because we do have a lot of business to handle with NOASB, and sometimes it does focus or center us into one spot. But it is not our main focus. We would love to participate with 337. We would love to participate with regulators. We would have to reach out to their band directors and make sure this is an approval from them and we're not just overstepping, because again, this is something that is done in a summer fashion, which means these programs are ran by those band directors specifically. It's not a school that we're running with, where this is specifically ran by these people, and they have their own way and structure of doing things. And we want to make sure that we're coming in and we're partnering with them to achieve the same goal and mission, and we're not stepping on anyone's toes by doing what we feel like is right for the program. So in the future, yes, we would love to work with other programs, but right now our main focus is at home. So NOASB has had a struggling year as far as fundraising and getting those monies to go where we need to go. So that's what our main concern is. We have not heard from 337 as far as them not having any money or needing us to foster or do anything. Same with the regulators. So that's why our attention has not been that. But we do appreciate you for bringing up this question, and we will table it and make sure that it is something that is brought up into our next year, physical year, when it comes to All Star Band season.
Okay. Okay.
I also agree. NOASB can be definitely our starting point because we've been working with them. But we still want to, like I said, make sure everything is flowing good at home before we do branch out to other organizations, other bands. Um, yeah, and I piggyback off of what Tremaine said as well because it all just kind of starts there.
Okay. Okay. That's it. Okay. We have Mr. Jerlane. What do the candidates plan to foster and grow unity through the chapters and members of the organization? And whoever would like to start with that one, and you guys can take it from there.
I can. I kind of answered this earlier when we were talking about unifying the organization. So it would be with those programs. One, the national board will build a connection with the chapters by working hands on with them to teach these things. During the summertime is a good time to have a conference because most of our college kids, if they're not taking summer courses, are at home. You can have two or three representatives from each chapter. We go through how it is supposed to be ran, and I would also teach how to do team building exercises because through team building, you figure out the challenge and you have to work together in order to complete it and see it through. So that would be one. And then, like I said, working together to achieve those awards for your chapter. All the projects from the 504 program involve you working together in some type of way as well.
Okay. Cannon
Yeah,
Palmer, same question.
I completely agree with her. I actually love the 504 program. Sounds like a great thing. So I'm in full support of Raynice going, making sure that goes public. Um, but fostering and growing our uniting our chapters in this organization is like key to our success going forward. And like she said, having a platform to do that on. Having a platform to do that on would be the hardest part. Right now, we're using GroupMe, and that's doing us a disservice to our organization because we're not able to communicate effectively, and we're just not in that digital age where we're texting like that. A lot of people are making FaceTime calls, we're video chatting, we're doing different things. So we're moving away from that, and we're trying to get our own website where we can log in and you can have your own access to being able to access that information and being able to foster, a good community and being able to like do that. And like I said, 504 seems like a legit program that can also help foster and piggyback into that. We also have this program where Microsoft Office is being implemented as well. So we all are able to access the same documents. We're able to access the same spreadsheets. We're all able to access information. Now, yes, this information will be restricted to certain parties based off of your hierarchy in the system, but you should be able to access anything that is able to be accessed. Let's being honest about that. So that's our plan to foster and grow and unite the community. Like I said, we want to make sure we're all on the same page as far as communication. And Raynice and I are both communications majors, so this is number one for us.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. So I believe that may have been our last question, if I'm not mistaken. Um, if y'all have any closing remarks, now is the time to do so, and I appreciate you all for tonight. And so, that was
I just want to say I appreciate everyone for having us. It's been a very, very unique process in us trying to move forward with the ideals and the vision of MFIO going forward. We appreciate everyone who's supporting us in this process and helping us fostering a new way of doing things. And also just kind of tuning and just joining and seeing where we are and where we're going. Even if you're not in support, you're also just paying attention and trying to be a part, which we really appreciate as well. I want to thank the governing board, the superintendents, everyone who was a part of this today to make sure this was illustrated and fostered well. Robin, absolutely awesome. She does this with no hesitation. She does not complain. And I definitely sent her flowers earlier, so we appreciate that. Also, want to go ahead and recognize my candidate, Raynice, as well. She's also a member of Delta Psi, so very proud of this as well. We're doing a really good job on moving forward and continuing to grow our success here at Delta Psi. Again, I really appreciate everyone for tuning in, joining in, and just giving us your ear for today on moving forward with the new M5 vision.
okay.
And I'd like to thank you too, Tremaine. Thank you so much. I would just want to thank everybody for listening and being open minded to the ideas that we do have going forward. And then just kind of like Tremaine said, even if you're not in support, definitely you can still show your support and respect the ideas that everyone has. We are not the only two who want to see change in the organization. There are a lot of people who are willing to work hard. We just need to add that structure and follow what we're gonna say we're gonna do. So yes, with that being said, thank you again. Thank you, Jelani, for hosting as well.
Thank you,
Thank y'all.
Jelani. Appreciate
Oh,
that.
no problem. Thank y'all. Good luck, best of both of y'all. So, this includes the first NFIU national president debate. It's very awesome. Voting will be open tomorrow, as you all can see at the bottom of the screen, Monday, June 12th. And it's highly recommended that everyone vote one time only. Voting will close on Friday, June 16th at 12 midnight. And the new elect president will be announced on our social medias sites on Sunday, June 18th by 6 p.m. So with that being said, best of luck to both of you all. I'm very proud of both of y'all and excited for the new journey and vision of Infio. So thank y'all who all attended as well and voice your opinions on the organization and you all have a good night.